have a little video for you that I want you to see from where AI started to where it was in the beginning of the year, and I'd like you to take a look at it.
The world was paying a lot of attention, and we weren't quite used to that.
Chess events never get covered like that. It was probably the biggest news coverage for a chess match ever.
We were trying to prove that it was possible to build a chess machine.
This was the first big
best
win for
in
AI,
the
beating
world.
Garry Kasparov on chess. The last game was just 19 moves. Now we think that that's easy.
Ladies and gentlemen,
In 2017, this guy had just won over $1 million playing video games, and he was one of the best gamers in the world. And the AI absolutely crushed him, with leaving him no hope at all.
GG.
He was making more money than 96% of tennis players.
I'm just gonna talk to these guys.
And next to him, you can see Greg Brockman there, who was organizing. This is the president of OpenAI playing a game versus one of the best gamers in the world. There he is. And you can see there Ilya Sutskever, one of the biggest guys in AI, and all the other biggest AI guys are on this stage playing video games. This is the core OpenAI team. And this is Google. A year later, playing AlphaGo versus Lee Sedol. People thought that it's completely impossible. Go is many, many times more complicated than chess. People thought that we would never do that in Go.
There's no point in playing out the end game, and you're gonna lose, right? So
Even if Black can live there. Oh, he resigned.
Done.
Okay.
wow. You saw history made here tonight.
AlphaGo has won again. 3 straight wins.
3 straight wins, has won the match.
OpenAI 5.
And now, 2 years later, OpenAI come back to play in a 5 versus 5 team game that requires a lot of planning. And the tournament for this game is $25 million for the winners. The guys that just won it, the world champions in the most competitive 5 versus 5 team game, were absolutely annihilated by AI. The AI that can play one of the most complicated games, 5 versus 5, with teamwork, planning, and perfect execution, just 2 years after they defeated the world champion in Go. This is about 50 times more complicated than winning the Go game.
Finger attempted onto the gyro, the stun from No-Tail misses. Thompson's AFK, he's had enough
If
of
we
this
can turn
one.
it up a little bit, just to hear the hype.
As the Ancient will fall, and that is GG, game over. OpenAI taking game 2, taking the series 2-0. As a player of Dota 2, as a professional, you watch how OpenAI just absolutely crushed.
For decades,
And this is the
progress in
ultimate challenge.
AI has been measured by how well we've succeeded in playing the games that humans play. We've already created systems that can learn to master chess and Go, and many people view StarCraft as the next grand challenge for the AI community. A couple of months ago, we made an explicit choice to try and scale up and speed up the StarCraft project.
Pay
The way
attention
we
to
went
what's
about
happening
that was
here.
to have different versions of the agent compete against each other on something
start to
called
see
the
agents.
AlphaStar League.
Agents are playing against each other, trying to get
And that
better
leads them to
and
improve
better and
rapidly
better.
over time and discover new strategies.
The way it played, you could see it was getting it. StarCraft has imperfect information and is played in real time. It also requires long-term planning and the ability to choose what action to take from millions and millions of possibilities.
Even defeating a pro player in StarCraft was considered absolutely impossible.
I actually have to work pretty hard to beat this thing. I didn't want to lose.
Incredibly, the system held up.
I was surprised how strong the agent was.
All right, so we're here in game number 3 now
And this
between Cyril and
is
AlphaStar.
AlphaStar
Same map,
after winning the
positions,
Alpha Star League,
bottom
playing
right is
against
Protoss,
thousands of
Serral,
AI
the top
agents,
right as
against
Zerg.
the StarCraft World Champion.
And Serral having
Beating
not
him,
done enough damage with this all
if you
in,
try to do it,
in
it
a
would
dire
take you probably
situation.
around 20,000
AlphaStar,
years to get to his level.
Being really aware of its position, I think. Here.
So much harder than
Just
you winning
immediately
any other game
attacking.
that it's just out of this world.
And that's it. As Serral
and
sees
AI
it coming,
did it in style.
knows that there is
It
no way
beat
to stop AlphaStar.
the best
And that
player
is
of
the
the
last
most competitive
AlphaStar versus
one
Serral,
versus one
Protoss
game
versus
in the
Zerg
world,
game.
3 times
And
in a
AlphaStar
row
won all
by
three
a
of them.
lot. So we can see that AI can now, today, learn faster than anything else. I don't need slides to be so strong. Let's see if we're gonna go down, if the clicker actually works. Right, so I'm gonna talk to you. We don't wanna see the video again. Okay. Wait, that's the end. So let's see if we can get back to the beginning. Right. Okay. Can we get to slide 2, please? Because it's very hard. Okay, fine. Now, first of all, you can get that by going to that promo code. You can go to Masters Academy. This is our academy where we teach digital marketing and business. And by getting the presentation later, you'll be able to get directed there. We have a big present for all of you. All of you will get some courses depending on the type of ticket that you bought. You're going to get a present from $150 to $800 worth of courses from our academy. We're giving away more than $250,000 worth of courses. You will get an email after the conference with your courses to see how some of the things that I'm going to talk about today are going to become relevant. And pay attention because this is going to get very complicated very quickly. Let's see if this is actually working. Okay, so I'm Dimitar Savov. You know me as your host and presenter today, but I'm actually the head of marketing of Startup Masters, one of the bigger agencies here in Bulgaria. And I'm also the CEO of Masters Academy, where we teach people marketing and business across the world. And I also have a project called SkillPlate that allows people to create their own education academies. I'm actually in the top 1% of all digital marketers in the world in terms of performance. You can see it there on the screen. There's 241 websites that we have ever advertised in the last 9 years. And this is Google. We've done about $284 million on Google for our clients, and Facebook should appear shortly. And there's another 280 there, spending about just $40 million. So we spend, for every dollar that we spend on advertising, we get about 12, and we are really one of the most efficient marketing teams in the world. And that's why I want to kind of give you this information, just because we really know what we're doing, and we see where things are going. And I want to show you what the future of marketing is going to look like. In marketing, there is this idea that there's people that need to make the decisions, but the truth is actually that it's going to be a team between humans and AI agents that are going to make the decisions in business, because AI is massively better than us marketers, than us people, in many, many ways. Now, AI cannot do everything, but it can learn almost anything faster than us in a much, much better way. So let me show you how this works. Now, what you are going to see here is a company. That's how a company should look in the next 2 years. People are already doing this, and what I'm going to show you today is already possible. This is not the future, this is today. Okay, so we have a team of decision makers on the top. Those are the guys that decide, okay, this is what we're going to do with the business. This is the product. This is what Bojan was talking to you. You decide what your product is, what your audience is, what you're going to sell, what you're going to do, everything that you know about business today. That's what the humans are trying to figure out, all right? And then from there, you give that problem, the whole marketing problem of everything that you're doing, all the emails, all the ads, all the websites, everything about the product, everything that you're ever going to say to your customers, picking up the phone, absolutely everything that you're ever going to do in marketing, you shoot it to the advisory council. So the advisory council is going to ask you about, what's your strategy? How are you going to do this? What are your vision, values? Who are the people in your team? What do you want to sell? Who do you want to target? What are the products, right? AI is first initially going to talk to you and get the information. From there, that information is passed through a resolver that is going to verify it, and then the project manager is going to turn it into tasks. So in order to, for example, in order to run our campaign, we need a landing page, we need ads for Facebook, we need ads for Google's, we need emails, we need all of these things, right? And then all these things are going to be sent to the specialists. So the specialists are, again, AI agents, relentless AI agents who don't ever stop working, and they will do the tasks. If they need something, this is where the humans come, right? Only when the AI cannot get something, this is where the humans come in to provide it. And then what happens is when the specialists complete the tasks, then they give it back to the project manager, and the verifier and resolver checks if it's done well, and then we have, again, our advisory council receiving the results. You will see all these robots there, they are AI agents. And these AI agents, again, this is possible today. People are doing it already now, and I'm going to show you how it works and also how you can do it. Because it's actually so easy that you can start running infrastructures like this probably tomorrow, and it's going to take a few days, but it's not that complicated, really. So, complicated job gets done. You have your marketing campaigns, your websites, your everything that needs to be done for the marketing of your product ready, goes back to the advisory council, checks it. Maybe the humans in the beginning are going to check it. But then the AI agents are going to start learning and optimizing so fast that at the end, we are going to lose the point to, the humans are going to slow the process too much down. So we're only going to look at the highest level decision making and decide, for example, this is the direction in which we want to go. Some very broad and very general topics. So how does this whole thing work? On the right, you have your AI infrastructure. The AI infrastructure consists of a large language model for now. In the future, it will consist of multimodal models. Multimodal models can do everything, not just chat, but they can do text to video, video to text, audio to video, code to whatever, everything to everything. Google Gemini is one of the examples there. So you have your AI model there, and you connect it to an interface which allows the decision makers and the humans to communicate with that AI. Then you have your application. In your application, you set the framework of your business, the decision-making framework. I'm going to show you how that works, how your business makes decisions. I'm going to show you in a second. And then once you have your model, you have your business AI. The business part of the AI is your information. Okay, so for the models and what you've seen, ChatGPT and all this, everything that you've seen so far, all the prompts, everything is up there in the AI infrastructure. And we add some things. We give it memory, we use a technology by Microsoft called AutoGen to make these agents. So imagine different instances of ChatGPT, but that are specialized for special tasks, for special missions. We have a project manager, we have a marketer, we have a copywriter, we have a designer even. And then with the business AI part, we have the information about your business. This is the data about your customers. This is everything that you know about your products, your marketing. All this information you store in your, imagine, file cabinet, where you are turning this into training data. Training data is basically, when the question is this, what is the answer? When we have this situation, what do we do? Right? This is the knowledge of your company in very simple pairs of information. If the customer sees this ad, and then that landing page, they convert, this is good, we keep that. If they don't, we don't keep it. Right? So this is where your training data resides. And then on the left side, you have your data provider. The data provider is just, again, a piece of software, a very simple piece of software that gets the information from one place and gives it back to the application and to the AI agents so that they can work with it. For example, they can open up a customer's profile, see what they've done before, whether or not they're your customer, what is their order number. They can get all of your business information. So think about this for a second. Your AI agents know everything about any customer interaction that has ever happened with your business by heart, and they can take all of that into account for every word they say. This is possible today again, all right? So I'm going to show you how it works, and we're going to go back to it in a second. So first, your strategist extracts the business plan from the decision maker. This is you. There's not going to be any more copywriters, in my opinion, very soon. So it defines what are the input requirements. You know, what do we need from the humans? What applications do we need to connect to? For example, your online store, your customer service software, your accounting software, your payment processor, and so on. And then it establishes the current state of affairs. The current state of affairs is, where is your business now? How many customers do you have? What are you spending? What are your salaries? It gets all the KPIs for the business and all the data points, so that the analyst and strategy council can make solid decisions. How they're going to do the decisions, I'll show you later. So then they define an action plan in consultation with the decision makers. So they talk to the humans and they decide what's to be done. Right now, once they do that, they start to build. They start making ads, landing pages, creatives, new photos for the product. They will even start making videos very soon. And all of this turns into your marketing. And then everything ticks on human interactions, okay? So marketing prepares everything, and then visitors start to visit your website. For now, you will understand why it's not going to be a website very soon. But they visit your website, and they interact with your products. They add stuff to the cart. AI records all of this. They see, okay, when we show them this ad, it works. When we show them this copy, it works. These are our best sellers, maybe we should sell that. People who buy this product, maybe will buy that product. All of that is contained within AI. This is something that marketers cannot do. You just cannot keep all this information in your head. It's absolutely impossible. And even to train a marketer, just not to know marketing, just to have the discipline to work in this way is also absolutely impossible. There's not even one on the planet that can do this. I can do this today very, very easily. All right? And then, as you can see, the time becomes measured in customer interactions. Every step that the customer takes during the customer journey with your product and with your business is how this is moving forward, okay? So I'll show you a video of how people are doing it now. If we can play it loud, it's quite short.
Foundation models optimized for reasoning. On top of those models, we build agents that we use to accelerate our own research. And these do more than just output something. They also iterate and reflect and figure out what's the next step to do, and then take that next step. We're starting with agents that code because it requires complex reasoning to be able to code well, and because that's the work we do every day.
All right, this is the CEO of a software company that has 0 developers. They have 0 programmers, and they're a software company building software, all with AI agents that work together to figure out what's the best way to write software, and they get a product, write it, improve it all the time. They see every bug that's happening with the customers and fix it immediately. The bug is happening right now on your website. The AI sees it and it's fixed the next second, and then just to refresh away and everything is already fixed. So this is happening today. People are doing it now. For me, it's mind-blowing. Right, so I'll show you a few key AI developments that made this possible, because those are the ones that kind of will help you understand how all of this magical AI works, right? It's very simple. You've seen ChatGPT, and I'll start from there. I will presume that all of you have seen it. So the first way to improve ChatGPT, the problem with it is that it's unreliable. And every AI that you are using now is not 100% reliable, because it's not learning, it doesn't have experience, it doesn't know your business, it's out of shape, you could say. It can do these things, but it doesn't know enough to do them, all right? So the first way that we can see that massively improves AI is chain of thought prompting, right? This is the idea that you tell the AI, okay, I want you to do this job, write this ad for me, and then I want you to show me your thinking, step by step. Tell me how you're going to do this step by step to make sure that we have the right result, right? So that's chain of thought. And then you can do this several times, right? Make 5 ads and see which one's the best, all right? This is iterative prompting. And then we have reflection. Then we can ask the AI itself to check, all right? Check the 5 ads that you just made and see which one is good. These methods are scientifically proven to work better and better and better, right? So this is the paper on chain of thought prompting that shows you just, if you use every time, let's work this out step by step, you're going to get better results every time. Reflection, again, let's make sure we have the right answer. Every time results improve. Step by step, AI is improving. Self-consistency. Let's try a few things and see what is best. Again, here's the paper. You can see that's the actual scientific papers written by the guys from the AI video in the back. All of these things are moving forward with these so-called scientific papers. This is how AI scientists actually talk to each other. They try something and they publish the results. And when the results improve across the board every time, this is a practice that we adopt. I have made you a list of all these practices. Okay, this is definitely not working properly, but I'll show you. I'll get to it in a second, hopefully. Right. Okay, so this is the list of these massive improvements in AI. So once you add that, all these things together, and you encapsulate them for everything that you say, you're going to speak to the AI just like a normal human. I need an ad, but then the AI is going to know. Every time that you say, I need an ad, it's going to write 5 ads, it's going to check which one's the best, and then it's going to send you a more consistent answer. So now we can start to rely on AI. And then the next step is agents. Agents allow the AI to have one guy doing this in specific, be an expert in this and be an expert in that. What this does, it's actually called, on AI language, it's called impersonation, right? So the in-context impersonation means that when you tell the AI that it's an expert in something, you are an expert in, I don't know, privacy legislation. You're an expert in mathematics and you're an expert in copywriting. This, just like in your brain, it just activates the neural network in such a way that it provides better results every single time. So that's why, again, you can read the impersonation paper as well. So finally, what we get is what we call Smart GPT. So you have one input, you have encapsulation of using all the best practices in prompting together, and you forget about it. You don't write prompts. There's no more prompts anymore. We speak in normal human language, just like Drayton Bird does, all right? And then what we do is we use a technology by Microsoft called AutoGen. AutoGen gets, imagine that it literally takes this AI, whether you're using Anthropic or OpenAI or ChatGPT or Google's Bard or whatever, all of them have APIs and they can be connected to AutoGen. And AutoGen gets that, makes an agent, gives him all the instructions from the brain, from the application, and then now that agent is working for you. And they are responsible for ads or copy or design or whatever. And this process is self-iterative, self-improving. Okay, we have some issues right now, but people are working to fix them. The issues are that sometimes the AI has bad logic. Like, for example, if you ask it, who is Antonella Messi, it's going to say, I don't know. But if you ask it, who is Leo Messi's wife, it's going to tell you it's Antonella Messi, right? So AI inherently does not have logic. It's not thinking like humans. It's just working in a bit of a different way, but we can implement logic. It has bias. Different companies are trying to make it more politically correct or more scientific or more creative and so on. So we have adjustments for this. AI has settings, activation settings, also known as temperature, and we can make the AI more creative or more analytical with certain things. So we have these problems, and sometimes AI hallucinate. They just give you a complete bullshit. But when you start checking it, when you start applying these practices, they become reliable. So now, where are we? We have AI agents that learn hundreds of thousands of millions of times faster than you, and they speak human language, and they can code, and they can do all these amazing things. They can make images, they can make ads, they can make everything. Right, so now we have a business to run, so we need a decision-making framework. If your guys, if your employees could work 7 million times faster, and every time they had to come to you to ask you what to do, for every new thing that they have to do, it's not gonna work. They can't wait for you. You are the slow part in this equation. So it's not gonna work. So we need a decision-making framework. We need to decide, okay, how is this business gonna make the decisions? And thankfully, there's a simple mathematical solution we have for that. It's in the course that I sent you. It's in the first course in Masters Academy. It's called Business Fundamentals. Right, I'll show you how it works. You make a business plan on what you're gonna do, everything that Boyan talked about, and then you decide how to get it out to the market, and then you make that visually available, you make the technical solutions, you start advertising and promoting it, you collect data, and you make optimizations, you make decisions on what works and what doesn't, and you improve iteratively over time. I can't explain this whole thing now, but it's fully explained in the courses that I sent you. So I'll show you how it basically works. Let's say you're selling an apple. Very simple apple that you're selling. You're selling the apple for 10 bucks and you're buying it for 2 bucks. This means you make $8 per apple that you sell, okay? And so you have a market of 1,000 people, and if you sell 50 apples, then you have a 5% market share. And this sets the boundaries. It sets the limits of what you can do and what you can't do anymore. For example, if you sell 50 apples, your total margin, which is the amount of upside you have, is $400. If your business spends more than $400, then you're losing money. It's simple as that. It's the basic business formula. So AI can work with this. It doesn't need you. You have to make the big decisions, the whats, the whys, and the whos. But this, AI can handle. Are we making enough profit or not? Is this good enough or not? We can calculate this mathematically. It's very easy. It's in the course. It's the first thing that we teach people that we do. When we try to teach someone business, this is the first thing we teach them. And you can see all the revenue, the cost of goods, the marketing budgets, the expenses, they're all connected to this very, very simple formula. And for each product, we use the formula. And AI knows, okay, we try this, it works. We try this, it doesn't. And then what we do is we're still going to have humans in the company. Right? Somebody needs to make the stuff. Robotics is not so advanced. Somebody needs to ship it. Somebody needs to, maybe you will have a company where actual people pick up the phone. I don't think so, but maybe you will. And so for each person that you have on your team, you're gonna have some KPIs. Okay, if I hire you to work as a salesperson, I'm gonna pay you 2,000 bucks, and then I would expect from you to make sales for maybe 4,000 bucks. AI is going to listen to every call that you make, just like Ringostat showed, and it's going to record all of this, compile it together, and give you advice. What can you do to sell better? If they don't replace you, that is. But this is all connected to that mathematics. The digital businesses work with a stack of technologies. For example, you have your online store, you have Google search, you have your CRM, you have all of this data. AI can get through the guy with the glasses in the picture, the extractor, through APIs, and we give it to the AI. And now it knows everything that's happening about your business in full detail, and it keeps it in context for everything it produces, right? And then there's a simple way to decide what to do. It's very simple, actually. You take the business formula that I showed you before, and you see, okay, I'm trying to increase the price, or I'm gonna try and sell more. And then that's some type of strategy. And you calculate, if I do this, what's the probability of success? There's a way to calculate that. And then AI is very good at this, especially the probabilities is extremely good at this. And so you figure out very quickly what are the strategies that have the highest likelihood of success and bear the lowest risk. This is how every pro analyst consults every company and tells them what to do. You figure out all the possible moves. AI can do this faster and better than you. They figure out the probabilities faster and better than you, and they calculate the risk faster and better than you. And at the end of the day, you figure out, okay, line, I don't know what it is, increase marketing, 150 points, that's the winner, that's what we're gonna do. And then we iterate. That's how this process works. Again, full detail on how we do that right now by hand is in the course. And especially when you take the marketing budget, now AI can build this budget and make sure it fits within your whole business and decide, I'm gonna spend this much here and that much there. There's a way to do this. There's no two ways of doing it. That's the cool part. In business, there's only one way of doing this thing right. It's mathematical and very simple. You can be creative and decide whether to do that ad or this and say this or that, but then AI is gonna figure what's the best thing to say faster than you, much faster than you. All right? And we have even campaign planners. If I want to do a campaign, this is actually on our website, and you can use it. You can see on the right, you can put, this is how much ads I'm going to buy on Facebook, and this is how many people are going to click, and this is how much I'm going to sell, and you make a prediction about your own campaign. This is my own personal campaign planner. AI is going to do the same thing. It's just going to do the math and say, okay, if that works, I can advertise on Facebook. And I need to reach that conversion rate and that level of efficiency to do this over and over again and make millions and millions and millions. Right, so if you're interested in how things happen in our academy, you can use the hashtag to join today, but I'm not gonna waste too much time. So I'm gonna tell you how AI learns now. So we have the model, you have your business, you decide what you wanna do, you set up your things, you set up your AI agents, they start working, I'm gonna show you how this works, and then we start teaching AI. So remember Drayton Bird, old guy here, swearing. So he mentioned something called the conversational approach. It's just like, why is he dictating copy to his assistant? Because you don't sound like a moron when you actually read what you're trying to say in marketing to your customers. And then that's what AI is going to do. AI is going to talk to your customers, understand their problems and goals and things that they want and their motivations and numbers and locations, just like we do it talking to them, but AI is going to do it talking to them and listening to all the calls, recording everything, taking everything into account, and remembering it forever. Right, so for every step in the customer journey, whether the customer is just now seeing your brand for the first time, or they are, for example, already a customer of yours, they have an iPhone, and they're talking to Siri, they're somewhere across the customer journey. They're moving either a step forward or a step backward. They're interacting with your business. This is the clock. This is the ticking clock of AI interactions. With every interaction, AI records, was this interaction successful or it wasn't? If it was good, then what are we gonna do? We're gonna make training data. We remember this plus this is good. We keep it in the cabinet. And then that's how you build. With every customer interaction, AI remembers what works and what doesn't, and keeps it and learns hundreds of thousands of times faster than any marketing team in the world. This is possible today, again, I'm not joking. And then you have your customer journey targeting. Where are we gonna find these people? Well, imagine if you have in your head all the customer support calls that you ever had with your customers. And you know what these people read, where they go to the theater, you know what their wife wants, everything. So you turn this into customer journey interactions. And this is how we teach our students marketing. You actually have to create a customer journey and decide what you're gonna say here and decide what you're gonna say there. But AI can do this in a second and then iterate and change it and optimize it all the time based on all the information that you've ever had and based on every interaction you've ever had with all of your customers at once. So what are you gonna do? Right? That's a very interesting question. What do you think you're gonna do? Again, this is possible today. People don't believe me, but it is. I'll show you. You're gonna look at the data. You're gonna look at the performance at the end of the day and say, okay, so for example, for our academy, we had a campaign in Google, in Facebook, we had a webinar, we had some email marketing and some direct sales on the phone. And we can see the results for all of those. And we can see the recommendations of the AI, what they recommend we focus on, what they do. Maybe they'll tell us advice about something that we don't know. Let's say, in this case, I'm selling courses. And they're going to tell me, okay, make a course about AI, or make a course about creating beautiful products. This is what your audience cares about. The AI is going to tell me what it needs, and it's going to be a race on how fast I can provide my team of agents what they need. And then we're going to look at the dashboard, get the recommendations, and think and decide what to do. Right, so in order to learn faster, we need to keep this data and we need to fine-tune our model. So the way this works is, you know ChatGPT and all the models like that. So behind that, there's a large language model. What you do when you make an account in OpenAI, you make a copy of this model. In OpenAI right now, it's called DaVinci. And this DaVinci is now your instance of OpenAI. And you can give it additional training data, these pairs of things, this works, this plus this equals good, this plus this is good, this is the answer to that. This message with that product works. And so you keep all of this data in your business. Google and OpenAI and the big guys don't have this. This is your data. And so what you end up doing is you use the decision-making framework that I showed you, the simple mathematical stuff, and then you get that training data and feed it into OpenAI. And so now your model becomes a specialist, an experienced specialist in your business. And so now it's not a lame ChatGPT that we were talking about before. Now it knows everything that's going on for years and years and years of customer interactions, and it's getting better and better and better. And this is very easy to do. It's just question and answer, and you keep it in a simple text document, and you provide it as context. What we're even doing is, for example, I teach marketing, and I have hundreds of hours of marketing lectures, which you can see at mastersacademy.com. And what we did is we downloaded the subtitles from those, and we gave them to the AI as training data. And we made an agent. And that agent sounds an awful lot like me. It's scary. It's honestly scary. The world doesn't need more people like me. But what you're going to do is you're going to amass a library of things, of resources, of books, of customer interactions, and that's your training data that you amass over time. And what you can do, by the way, is most people think that you should work with one model. That's not true. Your company, your application, the brain in the first slide, you will be model independent. So you don't depend on OpenAI or on Google or on whoever. You can swap these in. For example, you can have agents that work with very cheap models. Models that you can run on your computer to make simple tasks, because otherwise you have to pay OpenAI through the API, right? For everything that you make it say, you have to pay a very little amount, but it starts to pile up very quickly. So you can use multiple models at the same time. For example, you can use a smarter model to make the decisions. You can use a simple model to write the ad copy, but it's free. Or you can use what's known as jailbroken models. Those are models that do not have alignment. They are not taught what is right and wrong. It's not people in California telling them that, for example, the LGBTQ is good or bad, or that there is a God or there's no God, right? So there's no moralizing and no alignment. The best model that we have right now is a 13 billion parameter model called Wizard Vicuña. It's free, and you can use it very simply. So now we get to agents. How do we train agents? For example, we help people build businesses. So our agent is now called the Startup Master. I know you can't read it, but what do we tell this agent, the Startup Master? You're an agent that helps people build their businesses. You do it by applying the decision-making framework and everything that I told you right now. You provide this information in documents. This is the visual interface, but with an application and with code, you can do it 100 times better. Thank you. And then it starts consulting people and businesses. This is actually what I would tell you. I tested it. I created a simple GPT. I fed it the data from my courses and asked it, how do you make a business plan? It told me the same thing I would tell you if you asked me. That's scary stuff. So the agents can do quite a few things. With a technology called MemGPT, they can remember They have databases, they work like computers, they store everything in folders. So they have a part in their mind about copywriting, they have a folder about this, a folder about that. They can do planning. They can make decisions based on the decision-making framework that you put in place. They can take action, they can write code, they can make banners. We saw vision becoming a thing very soon. I'll show you a few things about that. And all of these things agents can do now, and future stuff is coming. Now, the future stuff is very interesting. First, 2 weeks ago, AI solved the Wozniak problem. This is Steve Wozniak from Apple was famous for saying, don't show me this AI stuff, it will never work. When you make it so that it can enter the average American home, go in, find the fridge and the milk and the coffee machine and makes a coffee, then I will agree AI is amazing. They did it last week. AI entered the average American home, saw everything inside without any outside help, entered, found the kitchen, found the refrigerator, found the milk, found the coffee machine, found where the coffee is, and gave complete exact instructions on how to make the coffee. 2 weeks ago. And they don't have the robot that can actually pour the coffee in, but they're working on that as well. So vision is very good. And what Google are doing in Gemini now, and where the world with AI is going, 100% is multimodal models. So this is what NVIDIA showed in their presentation. It's everything to everything. AI doesn't have any problem. It doesn't work text-based anymore. Just like applications and programs work on code, AI doesn't work that way. AI works with neural networks. And they don't care whether the information that they store is video or text or audio or code or whatever you know and want it to do. It frankly doesn't care at all. So multimodal models are already possible. Google Gemini is the biggest right now. We are waiting to see what it's going to do. But this is already possible. You can see that there's a single tools that can convert take your video and make the subtitles. And then Deepo can take these subtitles and translate them. This is what we did, for example, with our academy. And now when you have that model, they can do all these kinds of things. Imagine what happens with the infrastructure that I show you. It goes off the charts. And Google Gemini is happening. It's going to happen this year. We're going to see it. People are already having access to it. And now, let's go back to the websites. If you have a system that can predict what to say to each customer because it knows them, it's just like you're talking to the founder of the company. Imagine that Siri, this is a very good example, and then when the iPhone arrived, Siri said hello, and then you use the iPhone for 5 years, Siri's helping you throughout everything, and then Siri is going to sell you the next phone. That's how it will actually work. So why do you need a website? These agents, they can present a personalized conversation to every single one of your customers and treat them as if they're their friends. They know everything about them, as if it's you talking directly to Steve Jobs and buying the iPhone from him. That's possible today. I don't know what these people are going to figure out in the future. So now the question is how you can do it. All right? I'm going to show you. The first thing is AI, because it's a neural network and there's these neurons and all that, it requires a lot of computation. So we use GPUs, or graphics cards, to run it. But you don't have graphics cards, and I don't want you to set up a crypto farm in your offices. So what you do is you rent a server from a system that's called RunPod. This is the best one right now. There will be future systems like that in the future. So RunPod, on RunPod, you select, okay, this is the GPU that I need. This is how much power I need. This is the AI model that I want. For example, I want Google, or I want OpenAI, ChatGPT, whatever it is, the current trend of the day. And then on top of that, you build your application with AutoGen. AutoGen creates the agents. Unfortunately, for now, it's with code, but in the future, it will become easier. Even I don't code. I don't code at all, but I can do this. I can get a script to get an AI agent running. And so now the last piece of information, the thing that you need the developers for is to implement the business logic. So that's how this becomes possible today. And you can see, if you go inside of OpenAI, all these agents and GPTs, they made the GPTs to put it in your mind, the agents can do this. but they don't sell the ChatGPT subscription. They don't care about it at all. They care about how you will connect your business through the API and get all that AI brain working through their system. That's why they're trying to make the best AI in the world. Because when you connect your business and you make your agents inside, you can see there's a playground, there's assistant, there's a section for fine-tuning, there's a section for API keys. API keys are how you connect your business. Fine-tuning is your own training data that you provide for your business. And the assistants are the assistants that you're going to specialize in certain areas to get the job done. So that's how it works. And then MemGPT is like the operating system of an AI, because AI is just a neural network. You give it something and then gives you a result and remembers what happened so that next time it can give you a better result. That's basically it. So it doesn't remember anything. But with MemGPT, you can make it remember everything forever. And this is possible now free. Okay? And hiring a GPU is like $2 an hour. And then a Bulgarian team actually made a software called TeamGPT, which is very much how I imagine that the communication with AI is going to happen. It's not just going to be you, right? You have a director of this, director of that, guy running Germany, guy running Japan, and these people are going to have to work together somehow. And so with TeamGPT, you can all work together with your AI agents, and everything is stored, everything that everyone says, every decision that's been made is said there, and you can backtrack the mistake. How many times in business do we change something in our business, but we don't know what the result is? We don't know whether it was good or bad. We don't know if that move was successful or not. Well, now you can. And I'm not saying you should use specifically TeamGPT, even though we use it. Our developers over there use it. And that's how we imagine the interface would be now, today. But in the future, it would be maybe a phone call. Maybe it would be a presentation. Maybe it would be on our phones. I don't know. But we will interface with in some way with AI together with our whole team. That's for sure. So I've made you a checklist on how you can start playing around with this. And I promise I'll give you everything that you need. First, you watch the courses that I sent you, the business strategy and marketing strategy. If you don't know that, you can't do anything in business. And then you go from there and define your business plan, your goals, what you're going to do, your processes and how things are going to work. You need to, as a business, that's the minimum that you need to do as a human. And then you get a simple Python developer. You're going to need that guy to implement that logic. I promise you he's going to be worth 1,000 marketers very soon. And then you use RunPod to hire the computers. This is your hosting for AI. Use AutoGPT and MemGPT to make your agents and to let them remember. It's very easy. I'll show you. There's examples and tutorials at the end. And then you use your model. And then you set up the agents, and then you connect those agents and give them access to all of your information via the APIs. The beautiful thing is if you try to do this as a human, it's impossible. If you try to get all of your data in Google Analytics and then analyze it, it's a nightmare. But AI doesn't care. AI can get this from that and that from there and link it together, and you don't need to deal with tracking issues and whatever. You can get all the information from the direct source. You can get the advertising data from Facebook, you can get your customer data from the online store, and you can get everything from everywhere separately, and AI is going to put it together, and it's all going to work. And then what you do is you create the communication interface so that you can interface somehow with these agents when you implement logic, and then you let the agents do the job and iterate and improve. All right? So here's what you need. What you need is your model account, an OpenAI account. OpenAI are the best right now. That's why we use OpenAI. You have RunPod and AutoGen and MemGPT. I sent you the links there. You will get the presentation. You can make photos if you want. And then I have tutorials for how to use AutoGen and MemGPT, and you get the direct code. You download the code from a place called GitHub, where developers post all of their code. And when they make something, you can actually get it and run it. It's not, you don't have to code. Most of the things that you need are very simple, and you can just get the code and run it and build an agent and tell him you're going to do this, and then build another agent, and then you're going to do that. And then what you need is this small development job that you have to do is to connect everything, right? So this is 1/1000th of what a business should actually be doing. And then you can also use a GPT application called Zapier AI Actions. How many of you have used Zapier in marketing? Right, so Zapier is an app that allows you to connect, for example, your website to Google Calendar and Google Calendar to your email and this to that with very simple drag and drop click actions. So you can create all of these actions together, and there's a company in Bulgaria called API Hawk that actually do this professionally. So you can hire them and they will do this. So it's not easy, but it's possible today. It's not expensive. You just need somebody who understands a little bit of coding. You don't even need high-level developers to do this. That's the crazy thing. And so it's not easy, but that's what all the best companies in the world will be doing. And if you have any questions, I'm ready to take them now. We have actually a few minutes. So yeah, we do have a few minutes for questions because I'm very quick. I'm not like the other speakers being late all the time. So if you have any questions about how this whole thing is going to work, raise your hands. If we can lower the light so I can see them, or get them a mic. If you don't have questions on this, I'm going to be very disappointed in you. Anyone? Okay, we have a question over there. Can we give the gentleman a mic, please? He's a bit far, I want to hear him. All right.
Can you give us an estimate what would it cost from scratch to build an agent?
Okay,
Rough
so let me kind of phrase. I understand how you would ask such a question, but it's not actually the question that you should be asking, but I will explain how it works. So the more complicated your business is, the more ads and products, the more AI brain power you're using, the more it becomes a decision. So the more brain power you use, the more computation you use. And also, the more complicated models you use, so the better AI is bigger usually. Right now it's bigger. That's not going to stay the case forever, but it's bigger now. And so bigger AI means more power. And then the more you do also means more power. But what you can do is optimize that. And for simple things, you can use small AI, and also you can run that AI locally. So there's not always, you don't always have to use ChatGPT. There's other open source models that you can use, and you can install them on your computer. So if you want it to be free, it's free up to a very large extent. From what most small businesses do, it should be free. You can run it on your server. It should be the price of a website hosting service. It's not that expensive. Now, if you start doing more stuff with higher level models all the time, it becomes quite expensive. But the price of it is going down and down. And if you compare it to anything that humans have to do, it's hundreds and hundreds of thousands of times cheaper. So for example, if I asked you to get the data for all of your phone calls, go through every phone call, analyze it, make notes, and see which of the customers is happy and which is not, and then what do they recommend you do, what are they asking for, and all that, that's going to take you, I don't know, it's just a tiring amount of time. And with AI, it's going to cost like $20, $100, but it's not going to cost thousands of hours. And that's that cost. But there's also the cost of things that you can never do. The things that we talked about in the decision making, keeping everything into account, that's something that you can never do. You can't hire somebody to do that. And there's the other thing. Me and Simona and Gennady here, we educate marketers. We've been doing this for the last, I don't know how many years, maybe 8, 9, 10 years. I cannot educate the marketer, even if I stay with them every day, the whole day, so fast that I can teach this system to actually get the job done. So the cost is irrelevant. It's however it costs now. And then it's cheaper than anything else you could ever possibly imagine. So it doesn't matter what the cost is. It's better than humans. Do we have other questions? We have a question over there, and we have one over here. All right, we have 2 pending questions.
So, can you
I can hear you.
Okay, can you give me an example? What is the benefits? Actually, what are you using all this information after you import Google Analytics information, Facebook Ads information? You link it to all the orders from the e-commerce, for example. What is just examples of things that you have, like new information or better copies or better SEO? I don't know.
That's how.
Yeah.
That's again, for people who don't understand how AI truly works, it's a bit hard to even understand the way things function. So I'm not saying that you don't get the idea of AI, but AI would not think in that way. So what you're thinking about is importing the data from Google Analytics and looking at the audiences. But Kasim, yesterday, he was spot on. You cannot trust third-party data, period. It's a lie. And so that's what you would not give an AI. AI, it's better to feed it less data but more accurate data than to feed it a lot more data but that's somewhat wrong. This is how AI hallucination pops up. So what you do is you give it direct customer interactions. This person with this Gmail account purchased this product. They came on the website this day, at that date, at that time. They came from Germany. They asked us this question in the customer service chat. They called us on the phone and they said this is their order number and it's late. And it was late because they didn't see the field to put their address correctly or whatever. That's direct information. So that's the only type of information that you give to AI. First party, 100% accurate information. So your question was, when you do it that way, what do you do? How do you make it use it, right? So that's the idea of context. And currently, the way it works is the AI models can have a certain amount of things they can take into consideration right now, apart from the training data. If you have the training data, you add the training data to the model, and now it's in the brain of the AI. But if you ask it for something new or for current data, which Google Analytics data and that kind of data you would not put there, it's not part of the training data because you don't know which is good and which is bad. So when you have that model of working, what you do is some of it you convert to training data, when you know what works and what doesn't, and the other part you take into consideration when building an answer. So that's like writing your prompt and putting every detail about the customer and telling it everything that happened about it. So this is currently, OpenAI increased their size yesterday about it, or the day before when they did their presentation from 8,000 tokens to 128. So it increased quite a lot. But you kind of, even in a text format, you throw it to the AI just like a stone, and then it reads it and understands it. Because AI can speak human language. AI can understand, can see images, can make videos, and everything like that. So unfortunately, we don't have time for any more questions. We are going to, oh no, sorry, I promised you one. I'll be quick. I promised you I'll answer your question. So shoot.
A lot more agencies catch up onto this gimmick, and they start implementing it in all the businesses.
Okay, so the question is, what happens when marketing agencies figure this out? So what happens is you go back to the basics. You make beautiful products, you communicate with human language to human people, and you make good stuff that people need, and they buy it. It's just that the marketing mumbo-jumbo and the targeting options and learning about Facebook and where to click and what to do with the interface becomes irrelevant. But you're still going to have to make the business and the products and make the decisions. All right, so thank you. I hope my presentation was helpful to you. And now we're going to have a few minutes to set up and start the closing ceremony.